right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so we're hoping for a better turnout, but even with one or two families, the show must go on. Thank you very much for coming today. My name is Danny, or students call me Mr. Danny. I was born in Seoul, South Korea, and immigrated to America when I was 5 years old. And I grew up in a state called Georgia. Has anybody been to Georgia before? Georgia? A lot of people go to like California, LA, they go to Boston, New York. So Georgia is in the deep south. Georgia is famous for Coca-Cola. It's actually the home of Coca-Cola. So if you like Coke, which is not very healthy for you, you can go to the Coca-Cola factory and try 40 different flavors of Coke from around the world. Because Coke from China, Coke from the US, from South Africa, they actually taste a little bit different. And then also, Georgia is famous for Chick-fil-A. Has anybody heard of Chick-fil-A? It's really good fast food. A little bit healthier than McDonald's. And my older brother and I, we went to school in Georgia. And then my brother, his name is Sam. He's just 15 months older. Went to MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Has anybody heard of that school before? Okay, so nobody's heard of Georgia, but everybody knows MIT. And he studied mechanical engineering and material science. When my brother was 6 years old, we went to my dad's friend's house, and this gentleman lived in a very big house. It was a mansion. So he was 6, I was 5. We're running around in his house. We got lost a few times, and then we somehow ended up in his garage. And in his garage, we saw Ferrari and Lamborghini. We couldn't even pronounce that when we were kids. So we saw these cars that we only saw like in magazines, but we saw it like in front of us. And my brother asked the owner of the house, he said, "Hey, sir, how did you get all these things?" And he goes, hey, just wait, give me 5 minutes. So this guy runs up. He lives in a big house, so it took him maybe 10 minutes. Went to his closet, came back down with an MIT t-shirt. And he said, "Oh, I went to MIT. And it has served me very well." So at the age of 6, my brother said, "Mom, Dad, I'm going to MIT." So he did. And for me, I was a senior in high school when 9/11 happened. 9/11, I'm sure you guys, the children here, before you guys are born, but definitely for the adults, you know. So that's September 11th, when America was actually under attack, and the Twin Towers, they came crashing down. It was a very tragic, very sad time, not just for America, but for the world. And in that moment, I was actually a year 13 student or grade 12 student. So I was already about to graduate high school, and I made the decision to serve my country. So I went to a very different university than MIT. I went to a school called the United States Military Academy at West Point. So basically, when you go there, it's a school for leadership, character. A lot of the curricula that we offer here is infused from a lot of my learnings, along with one of our co-founders who also went to West Point. And I spent 6 years in the U.S. Army. I was a captain in the Army. I went to Iraq. Anybody here been to Iraq? I don't recommend it, at least not right now. It's a beautiful country, but it's not very safe for family travel. And I spent about 25 months there in combat overseas. After that chapter in my life, by the way, I jumped out of airplanes over 1,000 times. So I'm a skydiver, super cool. And after that chapter in my life, I moved to China. So I moved to China about 12 years ago, and I moved to education. So I've been mentoring, teaching students from as young as kindergarten, before they can even speak, all the way up until high school level in China, in Korea, in Thailand and Vietnam for the past 12 years. So it's a passion. A lot of times people are like, "Man, you know, how do you go from Army war fighting?" Right? I used to carry 2 guns with me at all time, M4 and an M9. M9 is like a handgun, M4, because when you're in combat, you have to be able to protect yourselves and, of course, the lives of your soldiers. So the explanation I give is in the Army, you have to train to fight, to survive and win on the battlefield. And for all the students here, and for the parents spending a lot of time mentoring your kids, even coming here on a Sunday, we have to train and fight on the battlefield. It's a battlefield out there. It is. Life is not easy. There's a lot of challenges. There will be a lot of failures and setbacks that you will face. What I'm always grateful for are the failures that I've had, all the setbacks that I've had, all the challenges that I've overcome. And each time I become stronger, more resilient mentally, and also show more gratitude towards just simple things in life. Even having air conditioning here. So it's all about that outlook. But we want to create these experiences for students. We want to create moments of hardship, of adversity, of challenges. And I know the kids are like, what? In a safe environment. And in doing so, the best part of your character come out and you grow. So that's my brief introduction. And we have this beautiful lady here. So I can say beautiful because, oh, there she is. She's my wife. And that's Mrs. Honda. I will brag about her in a little bit. So this is me. I also am an alumni interviewer for the service academies. So in order to go study at West Point, which is Army, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, there's also Coast Guard and Merchant Marine. You have to be a U.S. citizen, and then you can have the chance to go. University is free. It's free education. But then, of course, when you graduate, you have to serve for at least 5 years as an officer. So 12 years in private education. And we moved to Vietnam in 2018, and then we expanded our education practice to Bangkok in the fall of 2020. So during the heart of COVID, because we still wanted to bring the best education programs here to Thailand. Thailand, we're just talking to Elizabeth back there, who's from Bromsgrove. She's an academic enrichment coordinator there, also Korean, right? Hello, say hello to Elizabeth. And we're just talking about how there's so many international schools here in Thailand. I think about 210. In Bangkok, about 80. Right? And Bangkok has a population under 10 million people. So we live in Hanoi as well. And in Hanoi, in the city, the capital city, there's about almost 10 million people, roughly. Ho Chi Minh has a little bit more. Ho Chi Minh's in the south. And in Hanoi, there's only 24 international schools. In Ho Chi Minh, there's 40. So Bangkok is very crowded and competitive, right? A lot of great schools, a lot of great education opportunities, but also it means that you need to think about discovering your passion and your interests and then figuring out what you want to do with your life. So now let me brag about this lady over here. So we met through education. Back in 2014, I was 30 years old. So now you know how old I am. And a day, 30 years old and a day, and then we met through summer leaders camp. Yes, you can meet your wife or future husband at a leaders camp, but maybe not at this age. So my wife at the time, she was 24 years old, and she was working as a teacher, teaching IGCSEs, teaching math, physics, because she's an engineer by background at another education company in Bangkok. And she brought about 20 students from Thailand to Shanghai, China, and we did a summer camp together. And during the summer camp, our number one priority was taking care of students, but we also fell in love. And the rest is history. So a little bit about her background. So she's born in Bangkok, went to Bangkok Patana School, and then went on to Thammasat University as an engineer, graduated number one in her class there. So she's a lot better than me at academics. And then completed her master's degree she went to Nottingham after, and then Nottingham in the UK, and then completed her master's degree at Cambridge University. And after that, so her entire background there is engineering, because Asians, we got to be good at math and science, right? And then she worked in some very big companies like Unilever and Sharp and these companies. But then she's like, I don't like working in factories. I don't like optimization and cutting costs, although cutting costs is important in business, right? But I don't like working with numbers and machines. I really want to do more with people. And then she reflected back on her educational journey and said, I would love to teach again. And so she's been a mentor teacher ever since. She's a lifelong learner. So while she was pregnant, I know she doesn't look pregnant now, but 13 months ago, we had twin boys, and they're sleeping here next door. So I apologize if you hear crying babies. So 13 months ago, we had twin boys. Their names are Taesan and Tevin. The Thai way to say it is Taesan and Tevin, okay? And at the time, right, she's pregnant, and she wanted to learn more, so she pursued a master's of science education degree at Johns Hopkins University. So I'm sharing this because we can always have a desire and hunger to learn, right? Like, learning doesn't stop when you graduate university, bachelor's degree, at the age of 22. Learning continues. So at this time, how old were you when you began your master's? 30 years old, right? While pregnant with twins, she's completing a master's degree from Johns Hopkins University, finished the master's degree, and then a week later, we delivered the twins. So basically, the twins have a master's degree. They're the youngest master's degree recipients, right? And then the year later, we got to go to Johns Hopkins. It was actually this year, 2022, and she carried the twins across the graduation stage and received their diploma. So that was really special for us. Anything else you want to talk? Oh, by the way, who knows Baby Shark? Do, 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 do. So, do you like Baby Shark? You don't? You're too old for that now? Okay. So, Baby Shark is the most watched YouTube in all of YouTube, actually, right? So, now I think it has 10 billion. It's a Korean company. And what's interesting is Mrs. Honda actually brought Ping Fong to Thailand. So we actually brought Ping Fong and expanded it to Thailand, and she expanded and localized the music. So there's even like a bunch of Thai. If you go to Ping Fong, there's like a Ping Fong Thai channel. By the way, we're not advertising Ping Fong here, but just sharing a little bit about her background. So we've been in education basically for a very long time, longer than some of you have been alive in here. And this is our lifelong commitment for not just our children, but for children here throughout Southeast Asia. You want to say anything? I'll pull you in here later. Okay, so today is a brief intro about us because the audience here is quite small. Right? We want to make it a little bit more intimate and share some stories. But this is the program today. So I think in a little bit, the students who are present today, you will go with Mr. Armand, who is our camp director, and he will take you next door. We have a beautiful gym to do some weight training. Huh? Not weight training. So he's going to go and do some camp activities. No weights, right? We're going to do some camp activities so you can all experience a bit of what you could expect at one of our camps. We have a camp coming up this winter from 20 to 30 December. And so for all the students, you have the chance to do that. For the parents, I'm sorry to say you have to stay here with us and listen to me talk for another hour or so, okay? Okay, so this is Mr. Armand, who still has the mustache, but not as of a distinct mustache as here. So Mr. Armand also studied the same major that I did. When I was in college, I studied sociology. And maybe you could explain a little bit when I pass the mic to you about sociology, why you studied. And then environmental engineering, that's what I studied. But you can see here, he studied sociology and anthropology. So you can explain what that is too. And he's been mentoring students for a very long time as well. You can see he's also quite fit. He's not a personal trainer, although he could pass for one. He does a lot of distance races, a lot of weight training, very disciplined, very focused. Discipline is something that we also teach in camps, and it's important that we as mentors live by what we teach. And Mr. Armand recently went to Chiang Mai, I think in September, and competed in the Spartan race. Spartan race, if you know what that is, that's like a bunch of obstacles. You have to overcome all these obstacles, and you have to run like 5-10 kilometers. And then in October, he's going to Ho Chi Minh City to do another Spartan race. This guy's like addicted to Spartan races. And then he'll be coming up to Hanoi because we have a team there to prepare all the programs for the winter camp coming up around the corner. So I'll pass it off to Mr. Armand, who's a mentor here in Point Avenue, Thailand, and also the camp director. So he's responsible for all the camps that we offer in the winter time and also in the summertime. Mr. Armand.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Right. So yeah, as I said, my name is Armand. I've been lucky enough to be with Point Avenue for over the last year or so. But before that, I've been in Thailand for the past 6 years. During my time here, I've had the opportunity to work with a variety of students on different levels and from different backgrounds. And from there, my passion grew in order to help students become the best versions of themselves. This is where I feel that Point Avenue is unique in its approach, that we focus on the student, the character, the personality, and building that individual up to be a contributing citizen within the family and the wider community. Little bit also about my background. I'm originally from South Africa. During my time there, I graduated with sociology honors and also studied social sciences. Reason why I think the topics that I majored in was quite influential in my life was partly due to South Africa's mixed history and a lot of inequality. Being able to study and understand the social problems taking place, the reasons why we are different or yet the same, helped me understand my place in the world and what I can do to contribute to the society I am in. I feel like it brought a lot of positive perspective and initiative on my side, and I hope to instill that and promote that with our fellow students at camp. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. So you can see when Mr. Armand speaks, he doesn't use any filler words. Does anybody know what filler words are? Do you know what a filler word is? Like, these are filler words. Maybe. So words that are unnecessary, we use to buy some time to think about what we want to say next, or maybe because we're a little bit nervous. But he's a very concise, clear, confident speaker. And those are things that we also teach at camp. We actually have a public speaking workshop that we do to teach students to do presentations and have conversations together. Okay? So, Mr. Armand, thank you very much. Okay, so now it's time to have some fun, not for the parents, but for the kiddos here. So if you're a kiddo, please go in and stand up. And there's this secret door over here that just magically opened up. And you can go into, have some fun. Let's go.
All right, folks. You can follow me to the gym.
You will see your parents again tomorrow. Make sure you give them a hug. Say, I love you, Mom and Dad. You'll see him tomorrow. Okay? Can you give him a hug? Are you okay with that? You're not okay with that? Okay. Okay. Yes. Don't worry, parents. You will see your kids soon. After an hour or so. They'll come back a bit more confident. Okay, so now we go into who we are, a little bit of background. So I think it's always important to understand more about our founding, our purpose, our vision, our mission, like why we exist. And by the way, when I stepped off here to the side, my wife reminded me, hey, your intro is always too long. So I apologize about that. She's always a harsh critic. So today we're going to talk about these aspects. You can see here our motto is character first, the pathway to excellence. So character, what is character? To be an honest, kind person. Simple as that. Right? To be a woman and a man of good character just simply means that you make the right decisions, you represent your family name, and that you treat others with kindness, with respect. And, more important than just academic excellence. Hey, Mom, Dad, I got all A's, or I got a 1550 on the SAT, or I got into Harvard or MIT. We think that character is actually the most important foundation that children need. Not just here and today, but this is like a lifelong commitment that we have when it comes to educating youth. We actually have a ethos. So ethos is like words you live by. And at the beginning of every class we have, at the end of every class, we actually recite the ethos together. And this is like simple, it's short, but it's also words we live by as mentors and we want our children, our students to live by. I will always give maximum effort, which basically means that anything you do, it's not about winning or getting first place, but it's about just trying your best. And at the end of the day, if you try your best, then you can be proud of whatever result you have. Number 2 is I will never quit. There's nothing worse than starting something and just giving up, right? Starting swim classes or starting cello lessons or doing math, Kumon math, and then just giving up because times get hard. It's important that we always finish what we start. And then the third one here you see is I will stand up for others. So we don't tolerate bullying here. We talk about these things, right? Because every opportunity is a teaching moment. And the final one is I will live my life with integrity. So to be honest, right? And to uphold those important values. We actually started our journey in Vietnam. So our company headquarters is actually in Singapore. And we began the first Point Avenue Center in Hanoi. And then we opened the second center in Hanoi. And then the third center here in Ecam Mai, where we are right now. We also have 2 centers in Ho Chi Minh City. So this is in districts 2 and 7. So we have 5 Point Avenue centers. And then we also have a beautiful kindergarten. So this kindergarten is for 18 months to 6 years of age. This is in Hanoi. It's the first Reggio Emilia kindergarten in Hanoi. So that's a pedagogy that comes from Italy. And we also have a beautiful K-12 school. So this is not called Point Avenue School, but this is called True North School. Like in a compass, the compass always points true north. So just as our character needs to be on point. We currently have 100 students. We opened this year in September. We have students from primary school to secondary and high school, and we'll continue to expand. But unique aspects of our curriculum, we have aerospace curriculum. We also have entrepreneurship curriculum. We have a very, very competitive debate team because the Vietnam national debating coach is actually the coach for our students. These are future campuses that we're opening in Haiphong, which is on the east part of Hanoi. We're also building a beautiful boarding school in Phu Quoc Island. Phu Quoc Island is like in the southern part of Vietnam, just off the coast of Ho Chi Minh City. So a little bit about our methodology. In terms of what we teach and how we teach, it's a very small and intimate environment that we have in our classroom. So typically in school, right, you have maybe 20 to 25 students. In our class, it's maybe about 6 to 8 students. 6 to 8 students, and you develop a personal relationship with the teacher. Our teachers are not called teachers, but they're called mentors. And the difference between a teacher and a mentor is simple in that teachers share knowledge, and mentors share their life experiences. So you guys saw earlier when I was even introducing myself, it was about my life experiences. That's what gets kids engaged and motivated, and that's how we build those bridges and relationships. And once you have those bridges and relationships, then there's a lot that we can do to impart positive change in the lives of our students. We also teach through inquiry-based learning, IBL, which means that there's a lot of discussion in the classroom. It's not just sitting there and the teacher doing PPT, death by PowerPoint, but it's a lot of engaging discussion with the students. We have programs from elementary. So here in Point Avenue, Thailand, we don't have kindergarten programs like 18 months, but it's elementary level, so primary school, all the way up until high school. We have a very, very strong and reputable admissions consulting, meaning we help students who wish to study abroad. The primary focus for us is US, so US universities. Every year we'll have MIT, Harvard, Stanford, Yale, a lot of these top schools. And we also send students to Canada and the UK universities. But US is kind of the core focus in terms of where a lot of our students apply and go. So about our camp's been around since 2012. Remember, we met in camp in 2014, but when I left the Army and moved to Shanghai, China, I actually brought this camp curriculum from a lot of the military training and the leadership training that I received at West Point. And we began these camps over 10 years ago. So if you look across our camps, we've offered 10 camp programs since 2018, you see, because we actually moved to Vietnam and started in Southeast Asia in 2018. So we offer camps in Hanoi, in Ho Chi Minh City, and then also in Bangkok. And when we say in these cities, that's where majority of the students come from, but the camp destinations and locations also change. It's not always in the city. And for this year's Winter's Leaders Camp, we currently have 2 options, and we will narrow down to the final in the coming weeks, and it will be an off-site camp venue for students. We actually have students who come from around the world as well. So for example, in Point Avenue, Thailand camps, majority of the kids do come from Bangkok, from Chiang Mai. Those are kind of the two areas where the students attend. But last summer, so just a few months ago, we had students fly from New York, from Los Angeles, from Seoul, South Korea, and from Japan. So we do have students who come from, and of course, it's helpful because the international travel opened up, right? And as international travel opens up more and more, we'll have more students from international destinations also coming to camp. The camp is 100% in English, so it's an all-English camp. Unique aspects also is a no technology camp. So we do use technology in the classroom because we offer classes for students, but in terms of every other interaction, it's about interaction outdoors, in nature, and also with each other, right? You know, for the past 3 years, all of your children, they've had their faces glued to their devices. And so we've lost a bit of that socialization and interaction with others. It's something that we need to instill and build in children. So Winter's Leaders Camp this year, every year we have camps during the winter time and also in the summertime. Winter's Leaders Camp this year will be offered from 20 to 30 December. So basically the main holiday there we have is Christmas, but then the students will be out before the New Year's so they can do the 3, 2, 1 countdown New Year's with their families. This gives, I think, a very good idea and understanding of the types of students who join these camps, their experience and learning during the camp, and then what happens as a result of the camp mentorship. So the students, when they come initially, right, they're followers. They may not have a lot of self-confidence. You know, I may ask students to come up here and introduce themselves or share a little bit, and they'll be reluctant to do so. And they're just doing it usually because their parents told them to do it, right? And trust me, when I was a kid, I always signed up for things because my parents told me to do it. I did every single extracurricular activity that you can imagine. When students join the camp, they become learners, right? Because their job is to come and soak up like a sponge as much information as possible. And during the camp as learners, we break down into 4 main pillars. So our camp, we teach and focus on 4 main pillars. We have global citizenry. That's actually one of the classes we teach. We have physical fitness. Every morning, the kids will be doing physical training. We have academic rigor because the students are pushed to continue to develop their critical thinking skills. And then we also have a lot of classes and discussion revolving around character and leadership. We assign leadership roles for students. So the most experienced student who is a returning student at the camp would be a platoon leader. So this student is then responsible for all the students, and then we have squad leaders. Responsibility is important, right? Maybe some of your children have siblings, but generally when kids grow up, they only have to think about themselves. So you have a tendency to be a little bit selfish, and you definitely don't know how to take care of other people. And those are things that we want to teach. So you have to wake up other students on time. You have to clean your room. We don't have a maid who goes in there to clean your room. And then you also have to do a lot of things, show up at the right time, at the right place, in the right uniform throughout the camp. So it's a great way to build a sense of responsibility and taking care of one another. After the camp, the students become leaders. So the whole purpose of these camps is to build these habits. Habits usually take about 2 to 3 weeks to build. Good habits, healthy habits. And it's important that you as parents also help reinforce that they continue these habits. So for example, for 2 weeks, the students are required to make their bed, right? So maybe they never make their bed. Raise your hand as a parent if you make your bed right now, like if you make your bed as a parent. Okay, thank you for your honesty, right? So it only takes like 2 to 3 minutes to make your bed, right? It doesn't take that long. And so we have dialogue with students about the importance of making your bed because it's such a small, simple action. But if you can do the small things well, then you can do the big things, right? That's the idea. But we as parents need to model that example, right? If you expect your kids to do it and you don't make your bed, then it's kind of hard to enforce it because kids get smart when they get older. Mom, Dad, you're telling me to do something, but you're not even doing it yourself. Come on, right? Don't be a hypocrite. So it's really important that we model those behaviors. And that's why this education journey is a team effort. It's parents, it's mentors, it's the students. And students are always in the center. Additional things that you'll see in students is they're very, very actively involved with their friends at camp, after camp. every camp, the kids get crazy. After graduation, we pass back their phones, and they add all of their Instagram accounts, and they always make a Discord group. Do you guys know what Discord is, right? It's like what kids use. And they make a Winter Leaders Camp 2022 Discord group. And then they just communicate with each other about, hey, this class at my school or this kid at my school, and they continue to build those relationships. Hey, I'll see you at next summer. And so it's pretty awesome because if I'm a student attending one school, I'm always going to be in that bubble. But through camps, I also have the opportunity to build friends from around the world. Actually, I have a very, very touching email. One of our students, actually they're twin boys. They're from Los Angeles, and they came to this camp this summer. And this student emailed me, right, recently, and he's like, hey, Mr. Danny, how are you doing? I can't wait to come back to camp. I can't come this winter because we have some Christmas plans, but I'm coming next summer. Can you tell me where it's going to be? Oh, by the way, can you? And then he made a list of like 10 students' names. He's like, can you give me their line IDs? And I'm like, yo, man, I don't have their line IDs. But it's okay, right? So I messaged our staff, right? And then our staff messaged the parents, and the parents got their line IDs and passed it to this kid, right, who like misses his friends from camp. And he's in LA. And he's like, hey, I can't wait to invite all of my friends to LA. And I was like, you should talk to their parents, right? But this is the kind of cool relationships that kids build, and it's very touching. All right, so you can see here, technology free. These are some of the details. So right now, Elizabeth is here. We're actually currently discussing with Bromsgrove. If you know Bromsgrove, right, they've been around for about 20 years. It's actually a very famous school from the UK. Elizabeth, you want to say something about Bromsgrove? Sure. It's a boarding campus. Okay, so it's a day-end boarding campus. And so it's maybe an hour plus? Okay. Sure. And then depending on Bangkok traffic, right? We know Bangkok traffic. But let's just say generally it's about an hour away. And the beautiful part about this campus in Minburi is it actually has a boarding facility, which gives students the opportunity to stay there. So this is one of the options. And the other option that we're currently exploring is in Kanchanaburi. Kanchana. Her name is actually Kanchana, right? Nickname is Hua. She's our general manager. I should have introduced her, Pihua. She's also an Iron woman. Did many races, triathlons. A crazy story about her. So one time she was doing a trail race. Talk about resilience. She tripped on like a root on the ground, fell down, and she fractured her arm. She got back up and she finished the race. What was the distance in that whole race? It's like 40. She was on her bike. You know the Ironman, right? It just happened in Hawaii. There's a championship. It's like a triathlon, not the Marvel Comics Ironman. And so you have to swim 3.8 kilometers in the ocean, bike 180 kilometers, and then you have to run 42 kilometers. So in one of her races, she was on her bike in the aerodynamic position, and she ran into a cow, like moo, like a cow. Flew off her bike, got back on the bike, and finished the 180 kilometers. Talk about resilience. So she's our general manager, a longtime friend, mentor to Honda. But these are the two current locations. The camp is offered for grade 3 students, or the age you can look at is about age 9 years old to 16 years old. So that's the international age. Because I know in different countries you add age, you do some crazy things with the numbers there, right? I don't like Korean age anymore. I used to before I was 21. Now I just go with, the non-Korean age. The beautiful thing also about our camp is the mentor to student ratio. So you'll never find this, right? It's 1 to not 20, but to 2. So 1 mentor to 2 students, which means that there's a lot of opportunities throughout the 2 weeks where we develop a personal relationship with the students, right? So as mentors, we also get assigned to squads, right? Each squad may have like 8 to 10 students. And then the best time is always in the evening. We call it intentional time. Intentional, which means like you do it on purpose. And we do a lot of small group activities and discussions during intentional time. I'll tell you about those activities. Yeah, you can add something. Of course, go ahead.
ก็อย่างที่คุณแดนนี่บอกนะคะว่าเราจะแบ่งเด็กเป็นแบบหมู่แล้วก็เป็นสควอตแล้วก็เป็นพลาทูนทุกอย่างเนี่ยมันเป็นเกี่ยวกับ leaders แคมป์คือต้องการให้เด็กเป็นผู้นำแต่ว่าในแคมป์เนี่ยเราให้เด็กได้ลองทำจริงๆเด็กบางคนอย่างเงี้ยเห็นอุ้ยคุณแดนนี่หูว้าหูฮ่าลีดเดอร์แบบนี้อยากตะโกนเสียงดังบ้างแต่มันอาจจะไม่ได้
I'm
เวิ
pretty
ร์ก
sure I don't make those kind of sounds, but okay.
อาจจะไม่ได้เวิร์กสำหรับทุกคนดังนั้นในค่ายเนี่ยเขาก็จะได้ลองจริงๆว่าผู้นำแบบที่เขาเป็นน่ะคือแบบไหนเพราะเราให้ทัสว่าโอเคพรุ่งนี้ตี 5ทุกคนต้องพร้อมกันนะ you figure out you จะทำงานกับเพื่อนยังไงให้ทุกคนมาตรงเวลาตี 5ถ้าไม่ตรงเวลาผู้นำโดนลงโทษดังนั้นเนี่ยเขาก็จะต้องเรียนรู้แล้วว่าเขาจะ lead คนอื่นยังไงซึ่งสถานการณ์แบบนี้สิ่งที่ Honda เจอคือตอนทำงานแล้วไปยืนอยู่ตรงนั้นเราจะทำยังไงแต่นี่เขาจะได้ฝึกตั้งแต่ตอนที่เขายังอยู่ในโรงเรียนเป็นนักเรียนแล้วก็ได้ฝึกในขณะเดียวกันมีเมนเทอร์1 ต่อ 2ทำให้เราเนี่ยสามารถโค้ชเขาได้เราจะให้ฟีดแบ็กบอกว่ายูไปตะโกนใส่หน้าเพื่อนบังคับให้เขามาตี 5อาจจะไม่เวิร์กนะยูลองวิธีนี้ไหมมันก็เลยจะเป็นสเตจให้เขาได้ฝึกการเป็นผู้นำค่ะเราก็เลยเรียกค่ายของเราเนี่ยว่าเป็น Winter Leaders Camp เป็นแคมป์เพื่อสร้างความเป็นผู้นำจริงๆค่ะแล้วก็อีกอย่างหนึ่งคุณผู้ปกครองก็อาจจะคิดโฮ้ย2 อาทิตย์ฉันสบายแล้วบ๊ายบายขอไปเที่ยวนะจ๊ะแต่มีสิ่งหนึ่งที่อยากแนะนำผู้ปกครองนะคะว่าถ้าส่งบุตรหลานของท่านมาค่ายของเราเนี่ยอยากให้ผู้ปกครองร่วมมือกับเรานิดนึงในการ encourage เด็กๆหนูสามารถพูดได้เลยว่าเด็กบางคนเนี่ยโทรกลับบ้านครั้งแรกมีเสียน้ำตาอาจจะมีร้องไห้แม่เหนื่อยจังเลยอะอยากกลับบ้านณโมเมนต์นั้นนะคะคือผู้ปกครองก็ต้องช่วยกันแบบว่าเฮ้ยลูก encourage เขานิดนึงเพราะว่าตอนจบของค่ายเนี่ยบางครั้งเราจะมี challenge อาจจะเป็น10 กิโลที่วิ่งหรืออาจจะเป็น obstacle course ที่เด็กๆจะต้อง complete ระหว่าง2 อาทิตย์เนี้ยถ้าเป็นไปได้นะคะหนูอยากแนะนำให้ผู้ปกครองเนี่ยทำ challenge นี้ไปกับเราที่บ้านอย่างเช่นถ้าสมมุติตัวอย่างว่าจบค่ายเด็กต้องวิ่ง10 กิโลหนูจะแนะนำให้ผู้ปกครองเนี่ยระหว่างที่ไม่เจอลูกเนี่ยตั้งใจลองพยายามวิ่ง10 กิโลนั้นด้วยอาจจะเป็นวิ่งกับเดินเพราะตอนที่ลูกโทรกลับบ้านแล้วเขากำลังร้องไห้แบบว่าแม่หนูเหนื่อยจังเลยเมื่อยขามากเลยโอ้ยอยากกลับบ้านณโมเมนต์นั้นเราอาจจะให้กำลังใจเขาได้ว่าเฮ้ยแม่รู้แม่ก็ไม่เคยวิ่ง10 โลเหมือนกันแต่แม่รู้ว่าหนูจะวิ่ง10 โลนะมันยากมากๆเลยแต่แม่ก็กำลังพยายามนะสู้ๆนะมันก็จะเป็นจุด connection point แล้วก็เป็น intersection ระหว่างคุณแม่คุณพ่อแล้วก็คุณลูกให้เดินทางไปด้วยกันถึงแม้ว่าเราจะไม่ได้อยู่ด้วยกันใน2 อาทิตย์ที่ลูกมาอยู่ในค่ายพอวันสุดท้ายที่ทำ challenge ไปด้วยกันแล้วก็กลับบ้านเราก็จะมี conversationที่สามารถคุยกันได้น้องเขาก็จะบอกว่าโอ้โหแม่แบบตอนเช้าต้องวิ่งแล้วมันต้องยืดแม่เป็นยังไงมันก็จะเป็นสิ่งที่ทำให้เราคุยกันจบได้หลังจากค่ายดังนั้นในเคสที่ successful เนี่ยค่ะก็คือผู้ปกครองเนี่ยทำ challenge นี้ไปด้วยกับเราที่บ้านในขณะที่น้องๆเนี่ยเข้าค่ายเพราะเด็กส่วนมากที่จะรู้สึกแบบโอ้ไม่ไหวแล้วคือเขากำลังมาค่ายเหนื่อยมากเลยแล้วผู้ปกครองก็บอกว่าโอ๊ยแม่อยู่ภูเก็ตทะเลสวยไหมลูกคิดถึงจังเลยโอ้โหเด็กทุกคนณโมเมนต์นั้นจะแบบ มิชชันดาค่ะหนูอยากไปภูเก็ตกับแม่หนูไม่อยากอยู่แล้วดังนั้นหนูก็เลยจะแนะนำค่ะว่าถ้าเป็นไปได้เนี่ยทำ challenge ไปด้วยกันแล้วถ้าวันสุดท้ายมาร่วม challenge กับเราได้จะเป็นอะไรที่แบบ memorable มากมีหลายๆโมเมนต์ในค่ายที่เราจัดมาตลอด10 ปีที่ผ่านมาค่ะมีครั้งหนึ่งแบบเด็กๆขอโทษค่ะ เด็กๆวิ่ง cross finish line กับผู้ปกครองคุณแม่ร้องไห้ค่ะคุณลูกแบบว่ายืนแบบโอ้ยดีใจแต่คุณแม่ร้องไห้ว่าแบบโหยลูกทำได้ไงหรือว่ามีอีกโมเมนต์ที่แบบพี่ชายวิ่งจบแล้ววิ่งกลับไปรับน้องสาวเพื่อเดินไปด้วยกันจนจบเส้นชัยคือมันจะมีโมเมนต์แบบน่ารักมากๆถ้าเกิดเรา treat แคมป์นี้เป็น opportunity ของครอบครัวที่จะทำอะไรไปด้วยกันและให้เด็กๆได้เรียนรู้ไปด้วยกันค่ะนี่ก็คือสิ่งที่ Honda อยากเสริมจากที่คุณแดนนี่พูดค่ะ
Apparently, Mr. Danny, ooh ah. That's her explanation. So, yes. Should I translate what you said in English?
Do you understand what I said?
Okay, so all of our staff are fully vaccinated, of course, and then we receive an annual CPR and first aid training because safety is number one priority. And then we have a professional nurse on site with us. We also provide accidental insurance for students.
I want to add one more about technology free. Parents might be worried should I do in Thai maybe better
I think it's some English because everybody here. You just
เออ
check to make sure.
เอา
'Cause
อยาก
we
ให้
have
ฮอน
some
ด้าเป็นภาษา
non-Thai
ไทย
families.
หรือภาษาอังกฤษดีคะไทยดีไหมคะไทยเนาะโอเคค่ะคือเทคโนโลยีฟรีเนี่ยบางครั้งผู้ปกครองก็อาจจะเป็นห่วง2 อาทิตย์นะไม่ได้คุยกับลูกเลยอ่ะไม่ได้เจอหน้าลูกเลยถ้าลูกเราไม่ไหวจะทำยังไงเราจะติดต่อลูกได้ไหมเขาไม่เคยห่างตัวเราเกิน2 อาทิตย์ฮอนด้าเข้าใจมากค่ะตอนนี้มีลูกการที่ลูกออกจากอกเราไป2 อาทิตย์นี่โหยใจมันแบบจะไหวไหมบีบคั้นหัวใจมากแต่สิ่งที่จะยืนยันได้ก็คือ encourage ผู้ปกครองเพราะว่า ratio เราเนี่ยคือ1:2แล้วเราโพสต์วิดีโอแล้วก็รูปลงในกลุ่มแชททุกวันดังนั้นคุณพ่อคุณแม่เนี่ยบางครั้งสนุกมากเลยค่ะตอนเย็นนั่งคุยกับสามีโอ้ยลูกเป็นยังไงดูสิรูปเห็นหัวเราะไม่เคยเห็นลูกหัวเราะโมเมนต์นี้เลยดังนั้นเราจะส่งรูปส่งวิดีโอทุกวันแล้วก็เขียน wrap up ด้วยนะคะว่าวันนี้กิจกรรมเป็นอะไรทำอะไรเป็นยังไงบ้างและถ้าผู้ปกครองสงสัยในตัวลูกมากสามารถ reach out หาทีมเราได้เลยทีม CC แล้วก็ OC ว่าวันนี้น้อง A เป็นยังไงบ้างคะนอนหลับหรือเปล่าหรือว่าถ้ามีเคสที่เราอยากแจ้งผู้ปกครองอย่าง Honda เนี่ยจะอยู่ฝ่ายเด็กร้องไห้ก่อนนอนอันนี้คือหน้าที่ของ Honda โดยส่วนมากคือหน้าที่ดูแลเด็กร้องไห้ก่อนนอนโมเมนต์ที่เด็กส่วนมากจะเสียน้ำตาคือก่อนนอนเนี่ยค่ะเพราะตอนกลางวันเนี่ยแอคชั่นแพ็คสนุกมากมีความสุขมากมันมากแต่พออาบน้ำเตรียมเข้านอนปุ๊บเนี่ยจะเริ่มแบบว่ามิสฮอนด้า I miss my mom ปกติคุณแม่ส่งหนูเข้านอนอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะเราก็จะมีส่งเมสเซจไปหาผู้ปกครองว่าวันนี้น้องร้องไห้นะคะแต่ไม่เป็นไรเดี๋ยวพรุ่งนี้ฮอนด้าจะดูคือถ้าเป็นเคสอะไรพิเศษเงี้ยค่ะทางเราก็จะคุยกับผู้ปกครองแล้วก็ส่งข้อความไปหาดังนั้นถึงแม้ว่าจะเทคโนโลยีฟรีไม่ได้แปลว่า communication ฟรีเรายังมี communication กันอยู่เพราะฮอนด้าเข้าใจมากเลยการที่ติดต่อลูกไม่ได้2 อาทิตย์เนี่ยเป็นอะไรที่กังวลแล้วยิ่งไปค่ายที่แบบphysical activity เยอะแบบนี้น้องปลอดภัยหรือเปล่าบาดเจ็บตรงไหนเหนื่อยหรือเปล่าไม่ต้องกังวลจริงๆค่ะเพราะว่ามีเนิร์สอยู่ออนไซต์ด้วยแล้วก็มีทีมของเราอยู่ในแคมป์เยอะมากสามารถ reach out มาหาเราได้เสมอค่ะ
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so the key part here for technology free is sometimes parents are concerned that you can't reach out to your child. What if my kid's, homesick? And they will be homesick. That's also part of the challenge, part of the growth opportunity that we have. But you will always have contact with us. And we always have our staff throughout the entire camp and our marketing team, our staff working together to capture photos of your children. Of course, if you request not to have any photos of your children, then that's also okay. And you can keep track of them through our social media. And if you want to know how your child is doing, you can always contact one of our staff and we'll inform you. But the purpose of the camp is also for 2 weeks, the goal for them is to be disconnected from technology, disconnected from home, so they build that personal relationship with the mentors and with their classmates.
It's actually really funny because when the kids do not have technology, they are so awkward with each other, and that's something for us to witness. It's really funny because they are like not sure how do I talk to new friends without technology. Do I say hi, or what do we do now that we have free time and there's no device? So it is a beauty of no technology. Long time ago, when you guys are dating, maybe you have to write letters. Remember, like or pager and send like short messages. So during this camp, we're doing something like that for kids too. They will have a chance to write letter to their parents. That's the beauty of no technology, and you will have that piece of writing to read or to reflect upon. Because they can't reach out to you, so they will have to do it the classic way. No more instant messaging and send it to your parents. They will have to write a letter and reflect upon what are the things they want to say, what are the things they want to write to you. So that is one of the activity that we do every camp, letter to parents, and we will give it to you at the end of the camp. So that would be also another conversation starter, because the theme is New Year, New You. We want the new habit not to just end at the camp, but also after the camp and towards the next academic year and academic term.
Great, thank you. So in terms of the daily schedule you can expect, is the students have 2 classes that they'll take. We have global citizenry class and then life coaching class. Each of these classes are 2 hours in length. So at maximum, in a given day, they'll spend 4 hours in classroom instruction. But these are not like normal academic classes that you take in school. These are very unique programs, and imagine the topics and discussions that we have with the students. And then you can see here the wake up is quite early for students. We wake up generally around 6 a.m. We do 6 a.m. and then we do physical training. So we do exercise. On the very first day, we do a physical fitness assessment. And then we group the students based on their ability, based on their level. Because certain students maybe are more physically fit or maybe have very limited experience. The goal is not to make Iron Man and Iron Woman. The goal is to, of course, if that's their goal, fantastic. We can coach them, right? We're all Iron Man here, including the guy with the camera, okay? So the goal is to help them build this resilient mindset and to push themselves beyond their limit. And the evening activities are filled with a lot of games. Even in the morning, it's not always physical exercise. We'll play a lot of games, like team games, such as Capture the Flag, Ultimate Frisbee, right? You know, kids have so much energy. So it's also our goal to make sure that they expend all of their energy and they have a very meaningful, productive day. So these are very specific lists of activities that the students will participate in. This is, you can consider part of the camp program. So in the morning, we have mobility games. We have cardiovascular exercise, a lot of running, circuit training. Camp-wide for all students, we'll do a lot of different games, from Camp Olympics to football to volleyball, capture the flag, scavenger hunt, we'll organize. We also have this thing called free choice. So free choice is an opportunity for students to have dialogue and make a decision together. You can see there's 4 different types of activities. For example, squad game show. Squad game show is like Family Feud, where students will receive trivia questions on history or geography or science, and then we have bridge and boat building. So what you have to do is you have to vote for the activity that you want to participate in, but that activity needs to have enough votes, the most number of votes, so that we can have that activity. Which means that if you really want to do that activity, you got to talk to your buddies, and you got to convince them. And together, the activity that has the most number of votes, those are the activities that the students will do. You can see here, they have 4 options, and every 2 days, we'll rotate into different options based on the votes. And then finally, in the evening, as we explained, there's a lot of intentional time. So this is in smaller groups. We have what's called concentric circles and communication games and squad chants. So in very small groups, we'll work together and talk about interesting topics, about leadership, about character, about integrity, about doing the right thing when nobody's looking. And then we also do movie under the stars, board games. We teach students different board games. And we'll also do a book club, so reading and public speaking. So these are the different programs that we integrate throughout the camp, because the goal of camp is also to expose your children to our students to as many interesting options as possible, so that they get a very wide range of experiences, and then they can be motivated to then follow through those on the experiences when they come back home and go back into the school year. So the 2 academic classes that we have is, the first course is called Life Underwater, and I'm sure the parents here know the Sustainable Development Goals. There's 17 SDGs, the UNESCO, right, United Nations. And last summer, we taught about zero hunger. But this winter, we're teaching about life underwater. So this curriculum comes from the Sustainable Development Goals. Very, very interesting course for students. And every day, they'll learn 2 hours in groups. Now, these groups are also assigned based on their English level, right? Meaning, to students, any student who will come in and actually join the camp, they'll have to do a diagnostic test. The diagnostic test assesses their reading, writing, listening, speaking level, and based on that level, they'll be placed into appropriate groups. And then we also have the life coaching. So life coaching is about leadership and leading effective teams. So a lot of this curriculum, once again, comes from my learnings from the United States Military Academy, but it's about working in small groups and learning to persuade people, learning to negotiate and have positive and effective communication. So in terms of essential skills that your children will learn, I think one of the key highlights is simple as friendships. Students develop friendships with students from outside of their normal school environment. And that's quite meaningful, right? And even though it's a short period of time, they're around each other 24/7. Students will have roommates, right? So if they live by themselves currently, right, or they share a room with their sibling, they'll be paired up with someone they don't know. Same gender, of course, right? And we have male mentors taking care of the male students and female mentors taking care of the female students. And that's the opportunity that you have and benefits that you develop as part of a camp member. In terms of active lifestyle competencies, you know, maybe your children already love fitness, they love playing team sports, they love exercise, but there are students out there who don't do a single day of exercise, right? So it's important to not just work out so you look good, but you feel good. And then by looking and feeling good, you build a lot of self-confidence in yourself. And so these are the types of lifestyle choices that we want our students to make. By the way, the food is always quite nutritious. So they're not going to be eating ice cream every day. I probably set a bad example. I brought some ice cream in, but I gave it to Armand, right, when I came in here. So they're not going to be eating sweets, right? There's going to be no soft drinks, no Coca-Cola, no Sprite. It's going to be water, water, and water. And in the morning, they'll have some orange juice and some milk, of course. But these are important lifestyle choices, which, by the way, we also do that too, right? So it's not like we're giving the students a certain kind of food and the mentors are eating pizza and hamburgers over here, right? We lead by our example always. So this is pretty cool, right? So Christmas Day, we'll do a Christmas Day family visit. As you know, our camp will only be a drive away, not too far. So this is optional, of course, for families. But the camp starts on the 20th of December. So about 5 days later, families have the chance to meet up with their children. You can drive to the campsite, and you'll arrive in the afternoon. We'll send out a very detailed schedule, but it's after the lunch period. And then when the families arrive, we'll have a lot of family activities on Christmas Day. So for example, when students come to the camp, they're required to bring a gift. This gift is not for their friends, but this gift is part of the gift of giving activity. So this is something that we do, right? We actually have a partnered school. I'm not going to try to pronounce this. Can you pronounce this word, right? But anyways, it's a partner school that we have in Chonburi. These children do not have the types of, hey, Grip and Nacha. These children do not have the types of opportunities that your children do, right? Or the students at camp will. So therefore, we want to teach our students the importance of giving, right? And being selfless. So they bring their presents, and then we'll actually have the leaders from the camp, along with the mentors, go to Chonburi after the camp at a later date, and then provide these gifts. But we'll do a stocking hunt, finding Santa. We'll do a talent show. If you want to participate as a parent in the talent show, please sign up. But usually the students do a talent show for their parents on Christmas Day. And then after dinner, we'll have a dinner, nice dinner together. And after dinner, then the parents will go back home. So let's say you have a younger kid who's like 7 years old and not old enough for camp. On Christmas Day activity, you can also bring your other children too. These are the mentors at the camp. So we have a very diverse team, international team. So we have mentors from America, from Canada, from the UK, from South Africa. We have mentors, of course, here from Thailand, mentors who have studied abroad in various countries throughout the world, from Australia to everywhere you can imagine. And the most important thing that brings us together is our commitment for the students. It's the desire to be a mentor, to share our life experiences and build those personal relationships. So you can see here, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that I'm really proud of the team. Like from what Danny presented, you may think, oh my God, to be a mentor here, you have to be an Iron Man, Iron Woman, you have to run. Most of us are physically fit because we believe in healthy mind and healthy body. I think our camp is very unique in Thailand. You can't really find a camp where the ratio is 1-2, and all the mentors are, I can guarantee you, will be good role models for your kids. When they're growing up, at an age when they're teenagers, it's very tough for them to listen to parents because they're like, I am old enough, I know better than you. Life has changed. The world has changed. Mom, Dad, what are you talking about? That's 20 years ago. So that's when you need to find role models for your child. And I am very proud of the team. We carefully select all the team members to make sure that they are good examples to your kids. And that's why he was saying, oh, he ran marathon. They do something, Spartan race, because all our team members are living by example. It would be tough if we're telling the kids like, hey, you need to run 10K when we cannot do it ourselves. So this is what is really unique about our camp. All the mentors will be surrounding your kids 24/7. There is a saying that the 6 degree, like you're influenced by the 6 people around your life. And that's really important. And that's why our mentors will be the environment that would surround your kids for the whole 2 weeks.
That's good. Thank you. All right, so we got a couple camp videos, but I think we'll do this because I want to be respectful of our students' time. So we have 2 students here who are here to share their testimonial. So basically, they're camp veterans. Nacha, how many camps have you been to? So Nacha's been to 5 Point Avenue camps, including her first camp was in Vietnam when she was like this little, and she's super tall now. And then Grip has been to 3 camps. So these are our current students, and they will continue to return to the camps. But let me go ahead and skip to the slide. Okay, so I guess we're going to start. You guys want a paper, rock, scissors? Oh, wow, how generous of you. Okay, so Grip's going to go first. Grip Akarawat. Grip is a year 10 student. Okay, so I have trivia for you guys. Can you find Grip in this photo right here? Can you find Grip in this photo right here? You can't say anything. And you can't say anything either, Nacha. Can you guys find him? Grip. Bottom right, that is Gripster. Right there at camp. Okay, can you find Grip in this photo right here?
That's so obvious.
That's him, right? This is a tough one. Can you find Grip in this photo? I actually found him in less than 5 seconds. I have witnesses. Can you guys find Grip? Grip is right here with the mustache. No, I'm just kidding. Right there.
Mr. Rahman.
That's Grip. Okay, all right, Grip, take it away. You have a mic?
Yes.
Okay, all right, put the mic right here. You take your mask off. You're not sick, are you?
Nope.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Are you vaccinated?
Yes, I am.
All right, you can take your mask off. All right, let's go. Safety first.
Okay, so my name is Grip. I am currently studying at Shrewsbury International School. I'm in year 10, and I've been to a total of 3 Point Avenue camps. So my first time at camp was back in 2020. It was also the first Point Avenue camp here in Thailand. And I was just a little kid, just in year 7, and I had no experience in boarding camps at all. And at the start, I quickly learned the importance of teamwork because at the start of camp, you will be assigned to different squads. So most of your activities, actually pretty much all of your activities will be teamwork based. So with teamwork, you must have effective communication, which is is the basic foundation, which forms your teamwork, basically.
So you said when you were a little kid, so are you not a little kid anymore?
No, I'm not a little kid.
You're a big boy?
Yeah, it's been 3 years since my first camp here.
Sure. I mean, you're in high school now, right?
Yeah,
So that's good.
just started.
And now you're studying at Shrewsbury. Where do you hope to go to college one day?
Yes.
You going to West Point?
No, I will not. I don't have American citizenship.
Oh,
Mr.
okay. Oh,
Benny.
darn. Okay. Where do you want to go to college one day?
Probably somewhere in the U.S., but I'm not sure yet. So I'll just have to find somewhere that is best for me.
Okay. And if you can think back to your camp experiences, the 3 camp experiences, what's one thing that you've learned from the camps that you still do today? Right? So, for example, do you make your bed every day, Grip? Be honest.
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, at least he's
That-
honest.
But I'm a really I've actually nailed every room inspection. I get 40 every time.
That's true.
I
Grip,
even-
Grip is a
yeah.
very, very clean person, very meticulous. So,
Very
hello?
hygienic.
So basically, the room, we have a rubric. Everything we do, we have a rubric, and it's out of a 40-point system. So, like for example, if your bathroom floor is wet. A lot of times, I don't know why, especially the boys, they don't flush their toilet, right? So we have some floaters in the room. So, based on that, you can have a maximum score of 40 out of 40. And usually nobody gets 40 out of 40. When Grips gets a 39 out of 40, he cries, right? So he's like a perfectionist. But I think your room in your house is probably still pretty clean.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, but what's something that you've learned from camp that you still carry with you today?
I think that would be respect. I've learned to from the first camp. Actually, I didn't really know I didn't think there was going to be that important. But as time goes by, during camp, I quickly learned that this was an essential part of your character.
Sure. So respect for others, but also respect for yourself.
Yes.
Right? It's important to have respect for yourself so that you can respect others. And, in camps, of course, students will get into arguments, right? I think you guys even got into arguments at previous camps before. And they'll have differences, right? Because they have difference in opinion of how they want to do this team activity or what they think that they should do. And that's all part of, that's natural. That's all part of growing. But we discuss those differences and we learn from those differences, and that's what makes it meaningful, right? So respect is an important part. Do you still do a lot of physical training and exercise?
Yes, I do.
What's the furthest distance you ran at camp?
10 kilometers.
10 kilometers.
Recently, yes.
Okay, recently. Do you remember your 10-kilometer time?
About 58. I got third. Actually, I ran with my cousin who is right here. That's him right there.
Did you trip your cousin and beat him at the end?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, because we don't teach that kind of stuff
Yeah,
at
we
camp,
don't.
right?
We
Okay,
don't do
good.
that.
Good. Okay, so you got 58 minutes.
Third place.
So, ladies and gentlemen, 58 minutes is very fast, actually, right? That's very fast. That's almost a 6-minute per kilometer
And
pace.
yeah, considering the fact that my cousin is pretty ill, he had
Oh, I know what he's going here.
Yeah,
So you could have done it
diarrhea.
faster. But because you're a good cousin,
Yeah.
you ran with your cousin. That's the point you're trying to
Supportive.
make, right? Okay. But it's not always about
Yeah, it's
faster,
not
right? It's about
it's not
finishing
always
together.
about being the fastest. It's always about helping out people closest to you.
Did you beat Mr. Danny at that time or not?
You were not there, Mr. Danny.
I wasn't there at that one? Okay.
No, this is the second session.
Okay. All right. Good stuff, Grit. Thank you very much. That's awesome. 58 minutes. So next camp, you should try to beat Mr. Danny. Nacha, take it away.
Hi.
Can you take off your mask? Are you sick?
No.
Are you vaccinated?
I hope so.
All right. How many times have you had COVID?
I've had COVID once, I think.
Okay. All right. But you
Yeah.
don't have it now?
Yeah, I don't have it now.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
All right. Hi, my name is Nacha. My name isn't on the board, sadly, but
Wait,
I'm
before you start, can you do the Nacha
no,
look in
no,
my mouth
no,
thing? No?
no.
Please. For all of us, for the fans.
ดูปากนะชานะคะ
See? Thank you,
Okay.
Nacha.
Well, that's how everyone knows me as Nong Nacha Luk Sao Pi Bob. I go to ISB International School Bangkok currently, and I'm in grade 9 or year 10. So I'm going to be giving a testimony about camp and my experiences at camp. At camp, everyone starts off as an average kid. No one's better than other people, and no one's worse than other people. So let me ask everyone in this room, whose child is a little bit introverted? They don't talk that much, or they don't want to interact with people that much. Can you raise your hand if your kid's an introvert? ขี้อายเลยประมาณเนี้ยค่ะมีคนไหนลูกขี้อายไหม No one? Wow.
We have a room full
Well,
of extroverts.
Well,
Wait, we need to go ask Mr. Armand right now. Let me go check.
even though introverted or extroverted, everyone grows at this camp. I'm not even joking. As a pretty big extrovert myself, เป็นคนที่แบบ outgoing and I talk to a lot of people. I think this camp has also helped me grow, right? Not just to kids who want to express themselves more, but also kids who are very confident already. And this helps with teamwork and team bonding, like Grip has already stated. So activities at camp, they're all team-based, and you have to learn a lot of skills for this. You have to learn how to be kind, compassionate. You have to empathize with people. And you also learn life skills from this. Responsibility, it's communication. So many of these skills that I've learned at camp, I've developed over these years from 5 camps. I think it's something that I now use in my daily life, and that's how I'm speaking in front of all these adults and parents here right now so confidently. And I thank you, Danny, so much for giving me the opportunity to go to the first camp in Vietnam.
That was a good experience. So Nacha, I think you've always been a good public speaker. I
Thank
think it's
you.
fair to say that you didn't learn so much about public speaking at camp, but I think you learned something important at camp,
Yeah.
which is in the first camp Nacha came to in Hanoi, Vietnam, she had to run 21 kilometers. Because at that time, the summer camp was 3 weeks, so we had time to build the students' base for distance and had to run 21 kilometers. She was scared the whole 3 weeks about 21 kilometers. How did you do at camp?
So I actually didn't finish 21 kilometers, but I gave maximum effort and I finished 20 kilometers in
She
3
did 20
hours.
out of 21 kilometers in 3 hours. 3 hours, right? So it's either you finish the distance or you run continuously, walk continuous for 3 hours. What really touched me, and I still remember this, when she crossed that finish line, I mean, she was exhausted, right? And remember, Nacha was like a lot smaller Nacha. How old were you then?
I think I was 10.
10
Yeah,
years old,
10.
okay? So 10 years old. And her parents just left her, right? Bob just left her and went back to Bangkok. But when she crossed that finish line, right, she was crying first off because she didn't finish the goal. Mr. Danny, I didn't finish 21 kilometers. I'm like, hey, it's okay, right? And then the second thing, she's like, I want to come back next year and do 21, right? So that's the kind of mindset that we build here. Parents, I don't know if you guys heard, but 58-minute, 10 kilometer. It's pretty fantastic. So I think we're very proud of students like Nacha and Grit, but also students who join the camp, once again, as followers, join the camp and become learners, and then grow from the camp and become leaders like Nacha and Grip.
Yeah. So I think my first camp, I wasn't a leader at all. I was a squad member and then later on developed to be an assistant squad leader. However, camps later on, like my second or third camp, I started having a major part. I became squad leader, and that also, I think, helped with my leadership skills. But again, everyone is a leader, no matter if you're a follower or the actual leader or the assigned leader, right? Everyone has a part to play, and everyone does it so well because it's, like Grip said, mutual respect for each other and respect for the mentors and respect for themselves, right? And that, I think, is the biggest factor for being a good leader, which is respect for other people and yourself.
Thank you, Nacha. Are you gonna do the thing again? No, okay. All right, that's okay. That's okay. Thank you. All right, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Grit. Thank you, Nacha. Do you guys have class? You have to go back, or? Okay. Okay. Take care. All right, so we're almost done here. We also have camps in Vietnam. So we all know that the border has opened up already, and probably you as a parent have an itch to travel either this winter or next summer. In Vietnam, our camp will either be in Nha Trang. Nha Trang is like in the central part of Vietnam. It's a beach town, or Da Nang, right? So this location will also be finalized in the next week or so. But this is the same camp in terms of curriculum, different destination, of course, different team. We have the Vietnam team and the Thailand team. And this camp dates are a little bit different. So the camp starts on the 18th and once again finishes right before the New Year's holiday. So if you're interested in these camps, then you can just inform our team members and let us know. All right, so we're almost done, I promise, and I think you should see your children here quite soon. The students are finishing. Should we bring them in now? Yeah. Okay, let's bring them in. So we have an upcoming event, Father's Day. Yay, let's give a round of applause for all the fathers here today. Okay, so Father's Day event. This is hosted by Point Avenue, Thailand, to honor our fathers, but also to bring families and build community together. So we're actually going to host an amazing race. We have an application called Action Bound, where once you download this app and you open it for the day of the event, which is on 5 December. All right, let's have the kids come in here. We can explain to the kids too. Come on in, guys. Welcome back. Come back and find your parents. Oh, you guys got some goodie bags. Nice. All right. Let's come back. See, I told you you'd see your dad today, not tomorrow. Okay, all right, well, welcome back. Hopefully you guys had some fun. Mr. Arman, I think after I'm done introducing Father's Day, you can explain briefly what the students did while they were gone, okay? So Father's Day event is going to be like a half-day event. We're going to host this at Benja Kitty Park. Benja Kitty Park, beautiful park, a lot of space to run around. And each one of the challenges as part of the Amazing Race, the whole idea is to bring families together, right? So there will be a question or some challenge, and then the parents have the chance to interact with their kids and then navigate and become the winner. We'll have some very special prizes. We'll be giving trophies to the winning team. Also, escape room and a very special discount for future camp programs for the winning teams. But as this comes at a cost, it's 3,000 baht per team. Team is defined as a maximum of 3 members. So for example, it can be dad and mom and your kid, or dad and then your 2 children. And you can have more than one team in a family if you have a big family. Okay, this is the location. Okay, so we're going to conclude by showing you a couple videos. It's 2 videos here, short video clips. This is from last summer's camp.
Mighty, mighty Alpha! Bravo! Boom! Charlie! Delta!
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go!
By the way, parents are invited to attend and join your children on the graduation run. If you'd like to run, walk with your children, you're more than welcome to come. It's a really strong sense of accomplishment when you cross that finish line after 2 hard weeks. Nice, amazing. Brings back some good memories. And then we have what the campers said about their experiences.
Well, I came to this camp with 2 goals in mind. It's basically to have fun and to make new friends. And it's just check and check.
It's like better than I thought. Like at first, like on the bus ride here, it was so quiet. Now, like we also like found out some stuff about each other.
Well, I like that I'm making a lot of friends. It's really fun. It's cool. You get to run really far and push yourself to the limits and more.
Oh, I love it. It really teaches us a lot about leadership, responsibilities, and other stuff.
I never been to a summer camp before, and it feels like I never been like out of my house for longer than like 2 weeks.
I was nervous at first, but when I came here, it was better than my expectations.
I was very nervous and I was like trying to tell my parents why I should not come here because I was very scared. I couldn't wake up and then I will get yelled. But then when I came here, it's actually tiring but very fun.
My favorite activities were probably kick the can and ultimate frisbee and like the party games.
We do many activities that help us learn more about positive relationships.
We have 2 classes, which is Global Citizens and Life Coaching. For me personally, I prefer life coaching, and that's because like in life coaching, you learn how to like live your life. And there's not really like right or wrong. There's just opinions, and like I like that we get to like share our opinions. But sometimes those ideas are really insightful, and I get to apply them to my everyday life.
In life coaching, we get to do activities to learn more about ourselves and self-reflect. And like in the evening activities, we work in squads and teams, so we really like can bond together.
I was told that this camp was intense, but I never expected it to be this intense. So I mean, I think I have developed in terms of like my physical ability and my leadership skills, because this is a leadership camp. I think it's like more open, like everyone's just more open to leadership. Everyone just celebrates it more.
I think before I came to the camp, I spoke less. Now I speak up more for myself.
I feel like there's a huge difference between when we came and now, because in the beginning we're always homesick, and now I feel like when we go home, we're always gonna miss the feeling of being at camp because it's really fun.
There you go. Yeah, I think the best part about that video is actually on the first day of camp, after the parents drop their kids off, there's a lot of tears. Oh, I'm not going to be able to see you for 2 weeks. And then we do some activities and games, and then we get the students on a bus. That bus ride to the campsite is really quiet. Really quiet because, you know, it's just you don't know what to expect. You don't know anybody there except maybe the friend that came with you, but definitely don't know the other students. And the bus ride back home is night and day. Incredible. We have to tell the kids to quiet down, right? Because one, they've just built some meaningful, lasting friendships and then overcame some difficulties and hardship. And as a result, they've grown as an individual and as a leader. So that's our commitment here at Point Avenue. You can see all the black polos here. Okay, if you have questions, you can come up to any one of us, and we'll be here. Thank you very much. Come Cup.